Hey guys, welcome back to another Monster and Firestorm video, and today I'll be talking about, as you guys can see, the history of Monster Jam Diecast. So basically I'm going to be talking about how the diecast itself, from the looks at least, and the way they were produced, have changed throughout the year from 2000 to 2020 and 21, like 2020/2021. So we're going to start off with the basics. How is Monster Jam, move on to how is Monster Trucks and Spin Master. So let's go off and start off with the first ever versions of the diecast Monster Trucks that were ever given to us by Hot Wheels, which are, of course, the good old small hubs. And the small hubs started everything that became diecast. They started the diecast Monster Trucks from Hot Wheels, and then they also evolved throughout the years. The small hubs were, of course, trucks with very small hubs. That gives the name away, small hubs. And the tires were a little bit more, I would say, smaller as well. The bodies were about the same size as a normal Hot Wheels Monster truck would be in the 2018 days, which are sort of normal days. They also had metal bases back then, which did switch through a certain year. But this one, as an example, Team Ments, it did, of course, it was one of the most original small hubs. It did come out in 2002. I do not sadly have any, 2001, I think, but 2002 or 2001. I don't have one of the first ever, like, House Monster Trucks with, like, Goldberg, like, the long cards, or the short card versions, like the Goldberg, Sting Nitro, or Gravedigger, but I do have this one, and this is a small hub. So, this is the beginning of the House Monster era that led us into a humongous world and a great world of Monster Diecast. Now let's look at the next evolution, which were, of course, the step up to big hubs. So basically, the trucks from I don't really remember exactly what year it was. I think it was like 2004 or 5. Yeah, 2004 or 5. They had like or 2006. They had like a switch from metal base to plastic base and small hub to big hub. So here are the comparisons to a small hub and big hub truck. They're a lot smaller for sure. Width, they are exactly the same width. If I can show that on camera, I think, right? Can't really show it too well, but I'm gonna try at least. So there it is, the width. It's about the same to every other Hot Wheels Monster Jam truck. But those are the big hub and the small hub switches that they had. And of course, that was not it for the future of the diecast line. So after switching from small hub to big hub, and keeping with their metal bases, as we all know and love, which I definitely do, we switched from the good old metal bases into the plastic bases, which brought us to a time where the trucks became a lot lighter in their surfaces. So if you see this one, and then this one is a lot heavier in weight, at least. If you have a metal base truck, you can definitely like feel how heavy this one is compared to this one, where you can literally just it's like super light. In the modern day, as we all know it, and yeah, it was definitely quite a big switch. But it was a switch that I guess was needed for cheaper budget costs in Hot Wheels days, and of course affected Spin Master's days as well. Not only did we have those type of little switches from small hub to big hub, we also not only had the switches from metal base to plastic base, we also had a brand new chassis variation that came along into the diecast world, which you guys all know this is what they look like, the roll cage and chassis of a normal Hot Wheels Monster truck. And if we bring in a new version, which came in the then and now series packs, these were the first examples of a brand new looking chassis. Roll cage wasn't a thing, but a chassis was definitely in there. And you guys can see the differences right here, trying not to damage these too badly. But here they are, the differences in between the trucks and themselves. There you go. can definitely see the differences right there. Definitely tell from the back. And of course the sides once again. You can see the springs, like the suspension was all like right there. You guys can see it right there. And then the suspension turned right up from the tire up and forward. And it was only like bars all together. These were like separate bars from each and every side. So you guys can see that a little bit there. But those were basically the switches that they had. Well, the different chassis variations and roll cage variations that they had. And that also brought us to a few upgrades, but this was only one certain truck that got this little upgrade, which is BKT. Yes, one of the most rarest sought-after Hot Wheels Monster trucks. Well, not sought after, at least now. But one of the most rare trucks of the Hot Wheels Monster days. BKT was one truck and the only truck ever, I think, at least what I know of, in the Hot Wheels Monster days that ever got the special BKT printing. But for that, it is a very, very special Hot Wheels Monster truck, and I'm happy to own it, to be honest. I mean, this is something that you don't really come across. I mean, if you were to go on eBay, you'll probably find one, but I mean, they're not always the cheapest thing, but you could find probably one pretty cheap, but it all depends where you're buying it from. I mean, this truck is, of course, one of the top 10 rarest trucks in the world right now, but, yeah, that can definitely change comparing to the prototypes that have been released so far that people have been able to obtain, but this truck is still special to me, and I'm really happy to have it, and yeah, this is just one of those little switches that Mattel made, for one trick only, but Spin Master did change that for everything, for everyone, and that's where we're going to continue on with, but first, let's get into what Hot Wheels created after their Hot Wheels Monster Jam line ended, which were, of course, the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks. The Hot Wheels Monster Trucks. Yes, guys. This changed a lot. So as you guys can tell, the Hot Wheels Monster Trucks are definitely different compared to their old Hot Wheels Monster Jam trucks. They are a lot different, actually, if you look at this. Not a lot different, but there was only one huge change you guys can tell. The wheel size. You guys can tell here, the wheel size is dramatically bigger from the Hot Wheels Monster days to the Hot Wheels Monster trucks. The chassis and roll cages stayed the same as always, except they did have a new mold in 2020. But that's not really too big of a change. But they do have the same, like everything except for the tires. The tires did change from a smaller tire to a bigger tire, and that, of course, did not translate for the Spin Master trucks, because they are also kind of more similar to the Hot Wheels Monster trucks, unlike the Hot Wheels Monster trucks. Well, they're similar to the Hot Wheels Monster trucks, unlike the Hot Wheels Monster trucks. And of course, me saying that, that brings us to the good golden ages, or golden days, that we still have, thankfully, to this day, the Spin Master Monster trucks. This is a contract that was pretty, crazy, to say the least. I mean, a lot of people were kind of shocked when this news got out that Spin Master will be taking over the Hot Wheels Monster Jam, or the Monster Jam licensing for Diecast toys. Everyone thought it would just be terrible, but it turned out that this would probably be the best thing that could have ever happened to us Diecast collectors who want the most accurate Diecast trucks that we can ever get. Spin Master really delivered with what they can offer us with detailing on the shocks, like everything else what they've done. They've listened to us, and I'm really, really happy that we got to see something how it should have been done for all these past years. So after we switched to the Spin Master Monster trucks that we knew, they continued the trend from Hot Wheels Monster Jam. Yes, from Hot Wheels Monster Jam, having the basically same size tires as a different mold. They both had plastic bases and plastic roll cages, and not only that, but they also, they kept all those things, but also stepped up the game with adding the most beautiful bodies and everything that we could have ever imagined for detail. But not only did they do that for us, they also have added, or not really added, but brought back an old friend. Hear that? Yes, guys. Metal bases returned. that was something that kind of shocked me and kind of a lot of the community. Of course, we're known to seeing these plastic bases, the chrome plastic bases, but we haven't seen them since a long time ago, these metal bases. And I must say, to be quite honest, these metal bases are kind of similar, but also very different. You guys can see there are the differences in the lighting. These are definitely not the same metal bases that we know. You guys can see this one has more of a chromish look to the metal base. This one is really just like a rough metal. So, that was definitely a different change, to say the least, for the metal base line. But it kind of brought back a little bit of a memory to us diecast collectors, and I'm really happy to see that Spin Master has plastic and metal bases to their advantage, and they can use the metal bases for whatever they want. As example, their X-Ray series that they have this year in 2021. And speaking of trucks that we got that were really hyper accurate, one of the most hyper accurate trucks we could have ever asked for in diecast, Kraken. Not only did Spin Master evolve and step up their game by adding the new type of great looking chassis, roll cages that are really detailed. I mean, look at that. It's really, really detailed. There you go. You guys can see that a little bit better. You can see how the shocks are like all 3D. Everything is just nice. This is a really detailed truck, and they're stepping up their game so much. They're making new castings for certain trucks. They're making a lot more 3D things. They're just evolving and stepping it up to something that we couldn't expect. As an example, they gave us ride trucks, which Hot Wheels never ever gave us. They gave us a lot of other things that we would have never expected. And I must say, that was just insane. And continuing on with the chase piece line, Hot Wheels Monster, of course, brought us their Golden Machine line, which was kind of cool. But Spin Master, of course, stepped up their chase pieces and did training trucks, something that we kind of wanted for a while. But not only that, but Spin Master added something to diecast that was long overdue. This should have been done a long time ago, but we finally have it. And that, of course, is detailed shocks and motor with BKT printing. Yes. So what you're seeing in front of you guys is the most accurate, the most hyper accurate Gravedigger we could have ever asked for. There's nothing to say. If anyone wants to tell me that this is not an accurate Gravedigger, my goodness, this is an accurate Gravedigger. Remember when I said Kraken was accurate? This Gravedigger is scary accurate. This thing is, Spin Master stepped up their game with a lot of different trucks, and this one shows how much they stepped up their game. I must say, congrats to Spin Master for making the most accurate diecast truck I've ever seen, which is the Gravedigger Showtime trucks. They just, when Spin Master stepped in the game, they added everything what we could have ever wished for diecast. And I'm happy that with everything that also happened with Hot Wheels, Spin Master at least gave us what we want. Hot Wheels also kind of gave us what we want here and there, but Spin Master is truly the company that we needed, and I'm happy that we're getting to see the diecast in the future in their own way, but also we get to see Hot Wheels in their own way with their Hot Wheels Monster trucks. They're also a little bit more creative. They can now do whatever they want, and Spin Master can do whatever we want and what they want. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I cannot express how happy I am to be in the position that I am in right now. Without you guys, I couldn't be doing these videos. It's literally like one of the best. It's so cool to me to know that I can do these types of videos for you guys. I can make really good content, or at least content that you guys will enjoy. It actually makes me happy. It truly makes me happy to know that you guys like my content and that you guys want to continue watching my content. So before I start another video, I'm just gonna put on for the thumbnail all the trucks on screen. The thumbnail will definitely be different, but yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this long video, I guess. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Let me know if you guys want to see any evolution videos like this again. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. Smosh and Firestorm signing out.